I'm going to be honest with you. I think a lot of people are wrong about XRP. Now, it's probably not in the way that you think, so just give me a few minutes to explain before you go crazy in the comments. But I do think genuinely that the general sentiment around XRP right now is wrong. And I want to just kind of make this video because I made a TikTok and an Instagram short about it yesterday, but I really wanted to dive a little bit deeper into it because, again, I just think that people are looking at this thing the wrong way. I think maybe people are getting blinded by the news and all of the craziness that they're not actually just seeing what's happening for what it is. And I wanted to make this video just to kind of give my opinion. Now, obviously, I may be wrong, but I guess we'll see. So, I feel like over the last couple months, people have been starting to just give up on XRP a ton, right? We saw that beautiful move in October, November, December, where XRP pushed from, the 50-cent level all the way up towards $3.30, absolutely sending it, becoming, one of the most talked about cryptos in history. What we saw from XRP Ripple in October, November, and December was a bull run, right? The whole market didn't go into a bull run, but XRP specifically was quite obviously in a bull run, and it had the full experience, right? We saw a great pump. We saw retail jumping in. We saw retail getting dumped on by institutions. I mean, it was textbook, right? You started to hear your neighbor talk about it, people at work talking about it. I was being asked by everyone in my real life about it. I mean, it was a real life bull run, and I did find it interesting because realistically, nothing really changed in the macro scene. Obviously, Trump did get elected. That is a big change, but outside of that, right, from a liquidity-based perspective, from a retail perspective, there weren't many changes. And most of crypto did okay, but not like XRP, right? XRP was the clear winner of last year. Kind of. Solana also won very well. But anyway, so from there, though, things really got boring. And I think we can all see that and we can all feel that. XRP's price ranged, has ranged now from, this $2 to $3 to low $2 range for over 6 months now, coming up on 7 months straight. And it started to turn the tide a little bit. As a result of this kind of sideways movement, this lateral movement where things are not fun, they're not bad, they're just boring, they're going sideways, a lot of people have started to develop a rather negative sentiment around XRP. You look at comments, you look at TikTok comments, Instagram comments, whatever it may be, you can really see what I'm talking about. Many people are coming out saying XRP's dead, XRP's a scam, XRP's boring, XRP's not fun, XRP had its run, XRP's not coming back. And mind you, I'm not an XRP maxi. I'm not going to sit here and pretend with you. Look, there are enough XRP maxis on YouTube. I don't need to be one of them. I'm not one of those guys who's going to just come on here and say XRP is going to $1,000 because, quite frankly, I don't believe it. And if you want to leave because I said that, I don't care. Bye. Um, I'm not an XRP maxi, but I do believe that this sentiment that people have where it's like XRP is dead, XRP is not coming back, XRP is boring, I just think it's not true. I think it's wrong. And I think people are getting so blinded by the gains that once were, the excitement that once was, this move that we saw previously. They're so blinded by how they felt back here. They're not looking at this rationally. And that's what my goal is today. I want to show you how I look at it. And why I think what we're doing right now with XRP is actually incredibly good, incredibly bullish, and why I think personally XRP is in a better spot now than it's been in a while, all of which will make sense soon. But before we get into it, guys, don't forget, if you do want to trade a little XRP yourself on all the way up to 500x leverage, although I don't recommend 500x leverage, you can check out the link down below. Guys, I have 2 key selling points here. You're going to get bonuses of up to $10,000 per user, and you can enjoy up to 40% lower trading fees. If you know trading, you know how good that is. I don't even need to pitch this to you. So head to the link down below. Go check that out. Let me know what you think. It's absolutely phenomenal. That deal is absolutely phenomenal. So go check that out. Okay. So let's first and foremost just dive into it. And as I mentioned before, just a quick recap. XRP pump, XRP go sideways, people pissed. Okay. That's where we are. Let me talk about why I think this is a little bit off the mark. So oftentimes, whenever you have a cryptocurrency like XRP, which is super heavily traded by retail, they do start to abandon their technicals. And I am someone who does truly believe that fundamental analysis within the world of crypto is more important than technical analysis, but I do believe that technical analysis is still extremely important. And I think people are abandoning their technical analysis on XRP right now. Because if you do your technical analysis on XRP right now, you will again come to realize that although it may feel boring, something is happening right now that is incredibly important. And as of this moment, very good. XRP has been creating what's called a descending channel. It's a structure in the world of technical analysis. And all it is whenever a crypto It's a bullish descending structure, by the way, but a bullish descending channel just means the crypto's price goes up and then it starts coming back down and it does this. It creates lower highs and lower lows that look rather linear to where you can connect them with lines. Now, these are very bullish structures, and the reason why it's called a bullish descending channel is because history shows that you have a very high chance, and my analysis has put us anywhere from 70 to 80% chance of using this structure to break to the upside. Now, it doesn't guarantee that you will push on to all-time highs. It doesn't guarantee that you'll go crazy, that you'll go parabolic. It doesn't guarantee any of those things. There are studies that show that it could follow the length from the bottom of this move to the top of this move, and you apply this length here, so it looks something like that. History does show that, but I'm not even going to get that far today. There's no need. What it shows is that there is an over 70% chance of a crypto within a descending channel or a bullish descending channel breaking to the upside, hence why they're called bullish descending channels. And if we look at what XRP is doing in this little period in which things are all boring, you'll actually come to realize that's what's happening. XRP has now officially put in 3 highs on the top side of the descending channel and 3 lows on the bottom side of the descending channel, which now confirms resistance and confirms support. And so what this means is that XRP has now officially confirmed a bullish structure that history says has an over 70% chance of breaking to the upside in. Now, again, does this guarantee that XRP is going to do this? No, but it has a good chance of doing so. Now, in addition to XRP's price putting in this descending channel, we can also see that many of our macro indicators are resetting. And what this means is that your indicators are indicating that some sort of push upwards could be coming sooner than later, specifically because they've had time to cool down and reset. What you must understand is that during a move like this, when XRP pumps, all of its indicators are going to become what's called overbought, basically meaning that XRP's price is way too high and it went way too high, way too fast. Do you see how the RSI, for example, pushed into this black territory on top of the purple box? This is called the overbought territory or the extreme greed territory. You can look at it in many different ways, but all of these things just say, hey, XRP is too high and it's done this too fast. You can also see things called bearish divergence, which I'm not going to dive too deep into today, in which we put in higher highs at the top, and then we put in a lower high right here, a sign that strength was falling off. All of these things just showing that, hey, back here, XRP was way too high, and it went way too high, way too fast. Okay? But now that its price has started to cool down for these last couple months, you can see something like the RSI on the weekly chart, guys, back at the 50% threshold. And what I want to kind of bring to your attention is the fact that every single time that XRP comes back to this 50% threshold, it's not a guarantee that it bounces, but the bulls do put up a hell of a fight. Let's look at the last couple times we dropped down to it. We dropped down to it here. We pumped, which was this move right here. The time that we dropped into it before was right here. We got this pump before, of course, it continued to move downwards before the bottom was put in. We pumped right here. So the last time before that was actually a really good example in which we fell here and then we pumped like crazy. And then you can kind of see what history says. You know, we fell right here. We pumped like crazy. Now, again, I'm not saying for sure that this is going to be the level that holds us up. We could go all the way back down, right? We've gone back down there before. We might go back down to this 30 level now. But what I am saying is that the RSI, for example, on the weekly charts, as we are venturing into this descending channel, is becoming increasingly more corrected, increasingly more reset. And what that implies is that XRP is getting closer and closer and closer to a possible move upwards. Now, in addition to not only just the price creating the structure, but the indicator showing that this thing is getting reset, we are also seeing key levels of support being interacted with right now. What you can see is that XRP's price has made 2 very strong moves over the last couple years. What we were able to do with XRP was break the golden zone. Now, I'm not going to do a super huge deep dive into the golden zone right now, but just know this golden box is an extremely important level. And the second that you break this, you open the door for a huge move upwards. And the second that XRP's price broke $1.60, it opened up the door for a move to $8.50 and possibly as high as $27. Now, am I saying that XRP is about to go to $27? No, I'm not. But it is possible one day. The door is open. And so what we can see is that XRP's price broke above this golden zone, this very important zone, and is now holding above it. And at the same time that it's holding above this zone of support, it also is holding above this previous point of resistance, which is now trying to be flipped into support. So you have this red box, which is this previous high. Then you have this golden zone, which is a key level of support. And these are 2 major support levels. And as XRP is putting in this descending channel while also resetting its indicators, we are seeing its price holding above a key level of support. Now, what does this mean? Well, it means that XRP is giving itself a hell of a chance to be able to move upwards, to be able to continue at some point. It may continue downwards for a while, guys. Listen, the truth of the nature here, we might see XRP's price come back down to the bottom side of this channel, and it might hit the bottom side of this channel in August or later. It could be September. It could be October. I don't know. That's not what I'm trying to do here. I'm not trying to tell you what exactly is going to happen. No one can, and if they tell you they can, they're lying to you for views and engagement and sponsors. Period. Right? But what I can tell you is that even if it does continue in this, while XRP's price is within this descending channel, it is giving itself a magnificent chance of breaking upwards. And not only just breaking upwards a little bit, there are reasons to believe it could be a decent move. At this given point, if XRP's price is capable of breaking out, the door then opens for a move to $4.16, possibly a move to $5.39. And then really good move would be to $8.31. Now, I don't particularly think that is reasonable within the current environment because that would give this thing, XRP's market cap would just be gigantic, right? I mean, we're talking about 130 billion at 221. We're probably looking at about $500 billion market cap at that point, which I don't think is gonna, I don't think we don't have a sufficient enough amount of liquidity in the crypto market right now to get there. But I do believe under the right circumstances, we could see this happen. And if we get a little bit of injection of liquidity, sorry, I almost said inquidity of injection of liquidity. I think that we could for sure see XRP's price get that right move, especially with global M2 looking decent. I think there's reason to believe under the right circumstances that XRP could continue upwards. And so in a moment like this, where everything feels bad, where everything feels boring and everything feels scary, and when you're just looking at coin market cap and you're like, man, this thing's dead, it's not going anywhere. You need to be able to look at this thing objectively and remove your emotions and say, what's it actually doing? Is it building a key level of support, resetting its indicators while creating a descending structure that historically has an over 70% chance of breaking upwards? That's what it's objectively doing. And sure, XRP might just do this. Because again, just because it's a 70% chance, there's still a 20-30% chance that XRP's price does crash. It is possible. I'm not saying it's impossible. It's impossible. It is possible. It's just not as likely. So it might continue to do that, but it's the smaller percentage. But in a moment like this, everyone's acting as if it's the higher percentage that XRP will just crash. That is the higher percentage that it will go down, and that is just objectively not true. Historical data does not support that thesis whatsoever. And so because of that, I think most people are wrong. You can mix in even things like liquidation levels. When you look at a 30-day liquidation exchange map chart, for XRP specifically, you can see that there are a substantially higher amount of liquidations to the upside than the downside. Nearly $500 million worth of liquidations if XRP price move up to $2.50, with only $186 million if it moves down to $196. That's over 2 times. There are 2 times more liquidations that will occur if XRP's price moves up just to $250 than down to $196. So all of these things just go to show that there is currently a higher probability and possibility that over an extended period of time, XRP will break out of this channel upwards back towards $3 than it will go down towards sub $1. That is just what historical data says. Again, I'm not an XRP maxi. I'm not someone who's screaming it's going to $100, $1,000. I think that's all ridiculous. But this is objectively what the charts show. And that's why I wanted to make today's video. And so with that in mind, what I will do is I will continue to update you occasionally. Listen, again, I like to talk about the broad market. I like to talk about, altcoins in general. I'm not someone who likes to focus too heavily on just one crypto at a time anymore. That's not the way that I like to go. But I do believe that XRP has earned enough respect to get a video like this. And that's why I wanted to make today's vid. Okay. And so that's where we are. Now, I will let you know before you do go that if you do want to really start changing your game here within the world of crypto, if you want to learn how to do technical analysis with your eyes closed, basically, be able to quickly understand what's truly happening. You're not just looking at coin market cap. No, you're truly understanding what's happening and how you can make plays even within a time like this to make real money. Head to the link down below to the school. I could tell you what all we do in the school, but I've done that quite a few times. I think it's more important that I show you the results of it. Because sure, the process is important, but the result is more important. And you are someone who wants results. Let me show you. I mean, you can see this is just over the last 24, 48 hours. Hundreds of percentages of gains from so many people within the school. I mean, look at this. 106%, 144%, 71%. Like it just goes on and on. 400%, 78%. It goes on and on. 120%, 68%, 82, 52, 130, 80, 50, 107. Like, do I need to keep going? Probably not. Go look at what Connor Kinney himself, one of our coaches and one of our creators in the community, look what he's done. $4,000 gain, $400 gain, $8,000 gain, $11,000 gain, $21,000 gain on low leverage. These aren't high leverage trades. These are low leverage trades, making tens of thousands of dollars. So if you're somebody who wants to check out something like that, if you really want to take your game to the next level, go check out the school. And if you don't, it's okay. We will be here every single day updating you no matter what. And don't forget that if you do want to trade some XRP today, you can go check out that link down below. But overall, that's where we are with XRP. That is truthfully where I believe we are. And I think a lot of people are being blinded by the gains that once were and the excitement that once was. Okay. So I'll keep you updated as this all does play out. But overall, keep sentiment, keep strong, stick to your strategies. I know this moments get boring and it makes you want to get so impatient. It makes you want to dive in. It makes you want to force something to happen, but you can't. The impatient in the world of crypto die. And I don't want that to be you. Stay strong, stay patient. I'll see you all soon. Bye, everybody.